All right. So thank you, everyone, for joining us here this evening, both those in the auditorium and those watching us from live feed and on TV. We appreciate your continued support of our students in Atlanta Public Schools as we continue to work together to ensure all of our students will graduate ready for college and career. Before I ask Dr. Gestarfin to provide her own remarks, I want to share a few exciting announcements. First, APS's pre-K lottery is now open from January 3rd to February 8th. So please visit the Office of Early Learning's website for more information for your little ones. Any child who is 4 by September 1st, 2019 is eligible. I'm excited because my son will be part of that lottery, so that's going to be a cool experience there. Next, I wanted to let parents, teachers, and community members know that January is Gifted Education Month, as proclaimed by the Governor Nathan Deal in January 2014. And on an annual basis, the Office of Gifted and Talented Education hosts events to raise awareness and celebrate our gifted students and families. Please visit atlantapublicsschools.us/gifted to learn more. I also want to highlight that January is also National Human Trafficking Awareness Month. Domestic minor sex trafficking is a global problem that targets and victimizes the most vulnerable girls, boys, and transgender youth across our communities. With a bustling film and entertainment industry and one of the busiest airports, Atlanta has been ranked the #1 destination for human sex trafficking. That's going to be exacerbated by the Super Bowl that is going to be here this month. As a district, we are committed to doing our part to help end sex trafficking and the exploitation of children in our communities and neighborhoods. On Friday, January 11th, 2019, schools and staff will participate in National Human Trafficking Awareness Day, a day that is designed to raise awareness about sex trafficking, child exploitation, involuntary domestic servitude, and child labor. At this moment, I want to recognize a couple special guests who are here with us this evening. First, I want to recognize the great work of CJ and Kelly Stewart for their work through LEAD, which stands for Launch, Expose, Advise, and Direct. CJ and Kelly, can y'all stand up for a round of applause? LEAD's mission is to create positive outcomes for at-risk minority inner-city youth by leveraging the relationship between education, athletics, and service. Through year-round programming, this organization provides deserving inner-city youth with a pathway to high school graduation, college access, and career opportunities. LEAD serves APS students through 3 programs: the Middle School Character Development League, which has a direct partnership with 7 APS schools, the Legacy League, which is the city's first fall baseball league dedicated totally to APS students and serves up to 100 students each fall. And the highest level of membership is the LEAD Ambassador Program, which currently serves 40 students. I see some of our ambassadors are in the building, so I want to acknowledge them and get them to stand up for a round of applause. Now, I think that one of you, Charles Tavius Brooks, a junior at Douglas High School, is here. I want to invite him to come up to say a few words about the impact LEAD has had on him.
All right. So y'all know my name. My name is Charles Tavius Brooks. I go to First Douglas High School, and I can say I'm a proud student of APS. And APS directed me to LEAD, and LEAD is a pathway to empowerment organization whose mission is to empower at-risk generations to lead, transform the city of Atlanta. So basically, what LEAD does is they come for Atlanta black men who were born into poverty and racism, and try to direct them into a right path, and not to what their community basically got their life set up for. So they're trying to do all that and teach everyone the better way through the game of baseball. So my personal experience with LEAD, I stay, in zip code 30318. It's rough where I stay at. Nothing positive really comes out of there. But when I got connected with Lead, it showed me I'm on I'm on a straighter path to going to college, because I never thought about college until I met Lead. So they're really doing their best they can to help with APS students, and that's really all I got to say.
Thank you, Charles Tavius. And Charles Tavius is right. The partnership between Atlanta Public Schools and LEAD is tight, and we can't do our work without that organization. Since its founding, LEAD has graduated 61 students from its ambassador program. Of those students, 100% have graduated from high school. 92% have enrolled into college. 91% of those have received academic and athletic scholarships. I have mentored 2 ambassadors over the last couple years. Antonio Pierce. Antonio, standing out right there. He goes to Jackson High School. Yeah, there he is. He is committed to Savannah State University. Yes, sir. And a couple years ago, I also mentored and continue to mentor Tyquavius Nolan, who was a student at Carver and is at Lemoyne Owens College. So thank you so much, CJ and Kelly. I want y'all to come up so we can take a picture and I can give y'all a token of our appreciation. Board members? Oh, the ambassadors need to come up too. Antonio didn't need an invitation. He was coming up.
I'll figure it out.
So, Charles Tavius, Were you recently recognized? Now, I think we have some more shine to give you. You were recently recognized as an in-town Atlanta 20 under 20.
Oh, yeah.
So tell us about that, sir.
Well, the Atlanta In-Town 20 under 20 is basically the top 20 students up under the age of 20. I forgot where it reaches from. I think it's in the district, if I'm not mistaken. All right, Atlanta. So basically, Coach CJ told me about it. You know, the work I've been putting in, it brought me here. So basically, me growing up, I'm someone who's not supposed to be on that list. So, and I'm humble enough and grateful enough to take the position to be on the list, because I know it was only like 3 black people on the list, and I'm grateful to be one of them. So, and it's really a good feeling knowing the position that leaders putting me in. It is showing me that I can be greater than what people in my community expect me to be. I can go further, and it opens up a lot of doors for me.
Thank you so much. So that just gives you a little bit of a preview of the talent that we have both in Atlanta Public Schools, but also in LEAD. And again, CJ, Kelly, your family, I know y'all, your 2 daughters, I know you pour your heart and soul into this work with black men, black boys, to make sure that they get to and through high school and into college. So thank you for all that you do and that you will do in the future. All right. So next, I want to move on to another recognition. I want to take a moment to honor the life and legacy of Miss Margaret Ruth Griggs, a former Atlanta Board of Education member. She passed on July 27th, 2018. Ms. Griggs was a graduate of Booker T. Washington High School. She became the first African American to serve on the Board of Education District 1 for 2 terms. And I think that is something that we need to respect and recognize here this evening. I believe we have members of her family who are here. Can you stand up? We are so thankful to all of you, but in particular, we're thankful to her for her service to Atlanta's children and to the city at large. So we want to present y'all with a token of our appreciation, a certificate of our appreciation, and have y'all take a picture. If y'all all want to come up, you can, or a couple, the whole family, whole Griggs family.
If I may, I don't want to break protocol, but I do just want to take a moment to tell each one of you thank you for this recognition to the Griggs family. Her life has springboarded so much activism within our family, and I hope it spreads for generations and generations to come. So we thank you from the bottom of our hearts today.
Thank you for that. A couple more things, and we will move on. I do want to recognize and thank Board Member Leslie Grant, the board member who currently occupies that seat. Thank you for bringing Board Member Griggs' legacy to our attention. So thank you, Leslie. A couple other things. I want to mention that that this year marks the 90th birthday of our very own APS alum, Martin Luther King Jr. Please take time to serve in his honor on Monday, January 21st. As everyone should know, he's a graduate of Booker T. Washington High School, the Booker T. Washington High School. And I hope that everyone serves not only on that day, but serves every day in his honor. Let's also recognize, I should have said this when I was recognizing Leslie Grant, but again, Leslie Grant, getting all the shine in today's meeting, for being appointed to the executive committee of the Council of Great City Schools, which is a big deal. She will be representing APS on this. Well, she's been representing APS on the council for many years now, but she will now be on the executive council at the big table making decisions for the Council of Great City Schools. So we are proud of her work on the Council of Great City Schools and look forward to continuing to receive their support here in APS. So congratulations. And I also want to recognize our superintendent, Dr. Maria Karstarfin, for being recognized as an influential Georgian by Georgia Trend magazine. And on that note, I want to give everyone an update on the mid-year evaluation of superintendent. As allowed by state law, we can conduct evaluations out of public view because it allows the board to be honest and provide feedback to our one employee, the superintendent, in a way that is consistent with how employees in the district receive their feedback. I can report, however, that as a board, we remain pleased with her progress to implement our collective vision for the system. We are on target with the 5-year strategic plan. Through this mid-year evaluation check-in process, Dr. Karstarfin has demonstrated progress in her performance goals for this school year, which cover the pillars of the district strategic plan. There are 4 pillars: academic program, talent management, system and resources, and culture. Under her leadership, we have maintained growth in our graduation rates and have planted seeds for growth for many other indicators of achievement and success in the district. The map for the journey of transformation is clearly laid out, and we are confident that if we follow such a path with determination and fidelity, we will succeed in the turnaround that we asked Dr. Karstarfin to lead. I want to thank Dr. Karstarfin on behalf of the board for her service to Atlanta students thus far and wish her well for the rest of the year. Dr. C?
Yes, thank you. This evening, I will provide remarks that summarize the work session and our earlier special call board meeting. In the work session earlier today, Bill Karich, the Chief Accountability and Information Officer, provided an update on the district's progress on key accountability, instructional technology, and information technology initiatives. He discussed our resources for students, supports for schools, both technical and instructional, and security for student and employee data. It was followed by our Chief Financial Officer, Lisa Bracken, who provided us with a fiscal year 2019 financial update, including information about current general fund financials and fiscal year 2020 school allocations. Ms. Bracken informed us that local taxes are tracking below expectations and state QBE funding was slightly behind, but we will continue to monitor both. So thank you both, Bill and Lisa, for your updates. Earlier this morning, the board met to discuss the administration's recommendation to adopt a new resolution regarding the Westside Tax Allocation District. The board did approve, and then later this afternoon, the City Council approved our resolution and intergovernmental agreement that would supersede the resolution from December 7th. What that basically does is provide an opportunity for the district to remove any conflicting portions from the last resolution related to the Westside TAD bond validation proceedings. The intergovernmental agreement, now that it's ratified and accepted, along with the resolution, allows APS to withdraw from the courts the bond validation intervention that we had filed earlier in December. It's important for us to talk a little bit about why this is a discussion and resolution that was recommended and supported by the board. We highlighted earlier today there were a couple of big takeaways that we believe are important. First, this deal for APS ends a long-standing, multi-decade dispute about the implementation of tax allocation districts and the handling of the contracts related to them for the school district. It also, as I said earlier, allows us to end the court dispute. But what it amounts to is the most comprehensive reform of our tax allocation districts in which APS participates in their 3-decade history. Second, our original exposure under the original designs was about $1.56 billion with the Gulch, but we did not have an intergovernmental agreement putting any side rails and ceilings, basically giving some kind of protections to the district. We've been able to reduce that exposure to $1.38 billion with this agreement, which means over the life of the TADs, APS gets between $130 million and about $180 million returned to it. At the end of the day, what the board's goals were for the administration as we negotiated the deal was to provide the district with a more predictable, manageable, sustainable way for contributing to TADs. The action was far bigger than the Gulch because we were able to renegotiate all 5 current TADs. Going forward, it means that APS limits its exposure in the digest to be no more than 10% of the collectible digest in any given year based on the current assumptions and relieves some immediate pressure on the APS budget. I want to remind people that this whole TAD experience goes way back before this superintendent or this board. I told you it's been decades long, but there was a time where voters agreed through referendum to allow education taxes to be used for development. This board didn't decide that, neither did this superintendent. But it does mean that over the course of 30 years, a lot of agreements were created, and we are required to pay what has been put in as debt in those deals. There's a ton of statutory guidance that I will provide and share and post on my blog so that people do have the details. But I know there are many people who believe that APS could just end its participation, and that isn't true. We are obligated to the holders of these investments. We, of course, don't manage these TADs, so when things don't get done right, it's outside of APS's control. So right now, we do have a responsibility in those 5 TADs to finish what was started many decades ago related to them. So I'll spend more time over the next days and weeks making sure that the public is aware of that. We did recommend, and thank you, board, for supporting it. I'd like to publicly thank the City Council for doing a unanimous vote today regarding the deal, and I'd also like to publicly thank the Mayor, Keisha Lance Bottoms, for her support and her legal team's support to come to a resolution with Atlanta Public Schools. Mr. Chair, members of the board, I wanted to just close out by saying that with all of this, the timeline the city council meeting was still going, and we didn't quite make the timeline for 5 o'clock today, as we needed signatures from the city as well. But we will be filing that intervention first thing in the morning as soon as possible. I mean, sorry, the withdrawal, right. We're withdrawing the intervention, excuse me. Thank you for the, for the slight correction. But we'll be doing that as soon as possible in the morning. So thank you all for your good questions, your hard work. We really appreciate it. Welcome back, Atlanta Public Schools, to the start of second semester. Happy New Year to everyone, and thank you so much to the board for your support in my mid-year check-in around my evaluation. Again, I'm honored to be the superintendent of Atlanta Public Schools. It's a lot of hard work, but it is most joyous and inspiring because of the people I work with and of course the community and the school board to whom I report. So thank you. A shout out to Lisa Bracken, Cheryl Shaw, Glenn Brock, Bill, all the others who worked on our team related to the TADS. We couldn't have done it without you. It's been a great start of the school year, and I'm looking forward to finishing the semester strong. Mr. Chair, members of the board, that summarized my remarks for the evening.
Thank you, Dr. Gostarfin, and thank you for your leadership and your team's work in getting this deal done and doing it in a way that was in partnership with the city. I want to thank the mayor, Keisha Lance Bottoms, for her work in this and her team's work as well. I think this is a great step forward to ensuring that students across the system, particularly in those communities that need them the most along those 4 corridors, receive an investment in their communities that I think will help hopefully infuse not only a vibrant community, but also help build a safe community. So with that being said, I would like for the superintendent to submit the consent agenda.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chair, members of the board, I'm pleased to submit consent agenda items 5.01 through 8.01 to the board for approval. Just want to take a moment to highlight a couple of items on the consent agenda. 7.01 is a customer service engagement solution tool. It's going to help assist Atlanta Public Schools at the board's request to be able to pull together feedback from the community, track what we're doing, what we're responding to. It's one of the goals, even within the superintendent's work, but also the board's work. And so we were able to go through a procurement process, and we've identified a provider for that tool. So that's on the agenda for consent. We also were excited to be able to support our special education teachers by giving them more support on their certification test prep so that we can have stronger teachers working with our special ed students. That was 7.03. 7.04 allows us to execute a contract with International Baccalaureate. We'll be supporting schools like Jackson, Mays, North Atlanta, Thorough clusters, who are all IB clusters. They'll get more access to IB curricula, resources, training, exam moderation, academic services, and supports. And in 8.01, it's our authorization for construction related to athletic field houses at Best and CSK Academy and Douglas High School. So a lot of good stuff on the consent agenda tonight. We thank you for considering these items, and they are before the board for approval.
Thank you so much. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda items 5.01 through 8.01? It's been properly moved by Leslie Grant, seconded by Ishay Collins. Please open the vote. Thank you. Is there a motion on 9.01, which is the proposed monthly adjustments to the FY 2019 budget. Been properly moved by Nancy Meister, seconded by Isha Collins. Any discussion? Please open the vote. Thank you. Mr. General Counsel, is there need to report out from executive session?
There is, Mr. Chairman. I am going to request the board take actions in 3 matters, and I will present those in the order that we discuss them. The first 2 are student matters, and I request a motion in student case number 2018-4 that the board uphold the decision of the hearing officer.
It's been properly moved by Nancy Meister, seconded by Cynthia Briscoe Brown. Let's open. Any discussion? Let's. Thank you.
Thank you, board. The next item, I request a motion to uphold the decision of the hearing officer in student case number 2018-5.
It's been properly moved by Nancy Meister. Can I have a second? Seconded by Cynthia Briscoe Brown. Any discussion? Please open the vote.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, I request a motion that the Board of Education accept the tribunal's findings of fact and recommendation dated November 27, 2018, to terminate the employment of Roshonda Smith.
It's been properly moved by Nancy Meister, seconded by Cynthia Briscoe Brown. Any discussion? Let's open the vote.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's all I have.
Thank you so much, everyone. We will now move on to the report out from the community meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Tonight we had 18 speakers for tonight's community meeting. I'm beginning with questions of how do we define success and what's the role of the board. We also heard from community members expressing concerns about the effectiveness of GO teams and a need for surveys on school transportation and also the bus riders' experience. The Federation of Public Service Employees and AFSCME, our labor unions, discussed and shared thanks for working on behalf of its workers to ensure a solid relationship with Aramark and other entities, along with creating an internship to serve APS students in those professions. We heard special thanks for negotiating the terms of the task and ensuring that we continue to support initiatives that support, I guess, anti-gentrification in the city. Also, community members expressed the board should take action to address equity in education and in our schools, which includes making sure that we continue to put parents as a top priority, and that our parents can be our strongest allies if they are part of the process, and also recognizing that, you know, some parents may be incapable of knowing how to advocate for their children, but also need support in those areas, and just ensuring that the board needs to work harder to continue to build equity and excellence in our schools. And we heard from several parents of the coalition from Atlanta Thrive. That's the report out for tonight's community meeting, Mr. Chair, and I'll pass it along back to you.
Thank you so much, Vice Chair Shay Collins, for that. We'll now move on to the board committee reports. We'll start with audit.
All right. We were supposed to have a meeting in December. We're unable to for some personal reasons, but we will have that meeting Thursday week, the third Thursday on committee day. The time is yet to be determined. And we do have a couple of things that we will be looking at, including a transportation audit. So hope you can join us.
Great, thank you. Equity?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm glad to hear equity was all in the space today because we do have three very important meetings. We have our third and our fourth community equity and excellence meeting. That third meeting is actually January 16th, which will take place at Long Middle School. And then the fourth meeting will be January 22nd at Sutton Middle School. And both meetings will go from 6 to 8, just like the previous two. But a more important date is actually January the 17th. That is when the committee will actually turn the draft equity policy over to the policy committee. And that's when the second half of the work really begins, to where board members and the policy committee actually gets it and starts shaping it to where we will attempt to bring it to a full board for the first read in February. That is an attempt. But we are almost there. Been working on this probably for about 3, almost 4 years, but even the equity audit goes beyond that. But we definitely need you to turn out on the 16th at Long Middle School and the 22nd at Sutton Middle School, because this equity policy need to reflect the parents and the stakeholders of APS, and we need your input. So thank you very much.
Budget?
I'm checking with Pierre if we have a date for the budget. And we're still working on the date for the next Budget Commission meeting. We didn't have one in December, but we will post it when we come up with a date. Thanks.
Policy?
We also did not meet in December. However, we do look forward to an active meeting at 8:30 in the morning on January the 17th, when we will be working on the initial draft of the equity policy for first read. We hope to be able to do that in February. We will be incorporating what we learn from the community when we have the 2 meetings at Long and at Sutton. So don't think that if you come to that meeting that everything's already done and the comments won't be incorporated. But we will take what we learn from those meetings and make sure that we address any concerns that need to in the equity policy. As the point of intersection between the Equity Task Force and the Policy Review Committee, this has been really exciting and fulfilling work. It's been, I agree with Byron, it's been a long time coming and it's been difficult, but I think what we will end up with once we finally present it to the board for final approval will make a huge difference in the way the system operates and really give us a guiding star to hold everything we do up to. So I want to thank everybody who's been involved in that work, and we look forward to completing it in the next couple of months.
Great, thank you so much, everyone. Are there any report outs from board conferences? I don't think so. All right, with that, can I Now entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting. Probably moved by Nancy Meister. I was about to say, if no one wants to go home, then I'll. Seconded by Cynthia Briscoe Brown. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Meeting adjourned.